Black and victorious. Now black and victorious. Black and victorious.
Earlier today, I heard the Demani song. Yeah, young and
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed. You know what I'm saying? And then also like D1, he's been pushing like for hip hop to grow up or show some kind of maturation and I just wanted to ask you, like, I mean, that Demani thing had me thinking that hip hop may finally be ready for the maturing stage.
Yeah, I mean,
Cause you
I would.
look at Kendrick, look at J. Cole, uh,
I mean, I mean, we do remember Kendrick's diss to Drake. That wasn't necessarily mature. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not really talking about the exercise per se of battle rapping. I'm more so talking about the content. Like the fact that he is addressing.
Oh, what they're saying in the song versus yeah. So I will say I would agree with you there. I think the content, the what, and I think that's what made Demani's song so dope is that the content wasn't necessarily
Yeah,
speaking to like the bravado, but it was speaking to
yeah.
what type of man he is and I thought and that's I mean that's a very good angle to take in a battle, right? That's an extremely good angle to take.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily think it's an angle. I
So
think, I mean, I don't think that it's a deliberate, oh, I'm going to go this way. I really think that that's his nature.
I don't know. Well, I don't know the brother, but he seems like a real cool brother. But I think that in hip hop, especially when you're battling, it's all strategy. It's all strategy at the end of the day. So I think Ti is capable of that, and I think he had nuggets of that in his conversation of 50 Cent via the song too. But I think Demani went all the way with it. But I think that many of the battles, in Ether, though it was like
It
super,
was,
go hard. Nas, I know. I think Nas too had elements like a Demani, like he had elements where he was talking about Jay Z's
yeah, I feel like
like
this whole
spirit to some
song was
degree.
that, though. You
You
know
don't
what I'm
think so?
saying? I don't think Nas was
It
that.
was.
Nas sprinkled
I don't
in
disagree.
a little bit of that, maybe a dab like this. The little,
How much did he do? Yeah, but but I think that's the reason why he won because I think people are always ready for that type of conversation because you do think Nas won that battle, right?
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I just think that he
Oh,
threw way more punches.
okay.
That's all. He threw way more punches. So he won by the amount of punches he threw. Like he threw a lot of punches in that one rap. Like it was an onslaught. It was assault. So I would agree. But my question is like hip hop is 50 years old. Do you think it reflects that?
Yeah,
And when you think of a 50-year-old person or a 50-year-old you know what I'm saying? Do you think that hip hop reflects that it's 50 years old? Huh.
yes, yes,
Can you elaborate?
I think so. So the people I listen to, I think the people I listen to, if you listen to Nas's, 6, 7 albums in these last couple years, the maturation of his music has been that. If you listen to Tribes, excuse me, not Tribe, but De La Soul's. I'm not a huge De La Soul fan, but like De La Soul's album, you listen to Substantial. I don't know if you listen, but Substantial's music. If you listen to folks who've been writing and continues to write, like the music has kind of evolved. Now, I think that there are different. We are in a different generation. I think that hip hop is generational, and oftentimes the things that gets played on the radio and the thing that is saturated in people's ears is oftentimes this music that is not necessarily 44 or not 50 years old, but they're young. And so when these rappers were younger, there was a type of content that they was, putting out anyway. So I think it's people grow over time, but you can't necessarily listen to the radio or popular hip hop, quote unquote popular hip hop, and feel like
Do you think
that's the
hip
standard.
hop is holding hip hop accountable? Like, do you think that there are conversations about, like, it seems like there's more conversations. Let me answer that question. Let me answer my question. Seems like it's more
Yeah.
conversations about what the content is doing to our people, like the negative stuff is doing to our people, and the contradiction in someone that is rapping this kind of lifestyle but really living this lifestyle and leading the youth or the people that's listening in a different direction. It seems like it's a lot more of people getting called out for, hypocrisy, if that makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, I think that is I think that that's how people choose to frame where people choose to put their eyes or how to frame the conversation. But I always was told that you pay attention to the things you want to support, or you talk about the things that feel good to you, not necessarily talk about the things that don't, right? And I think a lot of times, because we are always trying to figure out ways to improve our community and improve ourselves, we're always looking at the issue to some degree. But I think one of the ways that we can continue to build our community is to also look at the positives. You know what I mean? Look at the things that are going right. And I try to angle my mind that way.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Only when you get angry do you accept the negatives. I don't understand it.
It's not. See, there's the thing. It's not that I don't accept the negative. It's not that I don't see these things occurring or these issues being there. But I think that the way in which you get out of it is to celebrate the alternative or celebrate the things that are happening. I listen to when
I
you listen to hip hop. Who you
majority
listen
of the people
to?
that you spoke about, the J Cole's, the
Would you?
J Cole's. I listen to Jay. I listen to Drake. Biggie, Pop, Nas. What's the dude that you put me on to? The dude who?
Koji Radical.
Yes. Koji.
Koji Radical.
Yeah. People like that.
See, all of these people have mostly good messages.
Yeah, but
and pot and like
I
you know
think
what I
that
mean.
it's becoming cool to have good messaging. I don't think that it's always been that. Is what I'm saying. I don't think it's all. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
So, all right, I know. Here we go. Here we go. Because I just so disagree. Who are the most popular? So the most popular artists right now?
Who's the most popular hip hop artist right now? J. Cole.
We're gonna stop right there. That says it all. That's the answer to the question. That says it all. The most popular hip hop artist on college. He's on college campuses. Has sold the most. Before that was Kendrick. One of the most popular, and their music is, positive in nature, or trying to stir you into a thoughtful
Okay.
kind of mindset. But we focus on the people that's on the radio or the people
Okay, so
who,
so I think you're
you
settling
know,
this for me. I
necessarily do
think
everything
that
they say.
they are the people that have ushered in the ability to be, or they have ushered in the idea of being righteous or being, yeah, I would say being righteous, but that's just a lack of words. It's being cool. You know what I'm saying? Like doing for your doing for your
Yeah,
family,
I love.
focusing on mental health. Before them, I don't know if I've heard anybody speaking about that. And so I think that they've ushered. I see. We had a talk in the gym earlier today. Do you see your face? Do you see your face? This is what I'm talking about. This
Oh
is what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about right here.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Why is that
I mean,
wild to
but
you?
that's just
I
wild to
think
me.
so. I mean, it hasn't been cool. It hasn't been. Don't act like it. Like for the dude D1. The dude D1 has been doing what he's been doing
Yeah.
forever. You know what I'm saying? And he is a bit radical in his approach. And him being radical is like people are starting to come out and agree with him. But initially it wasn't like that. Initially they was like, oh, this dude corny, this square. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I feel like the culture has been like for you per se. You don't smoke, you've never smoked, you've never had a drink before. Yeah, in some circles, you would be considered a square. Growing up, you was considered a square. Am I right though?
Well, I don't. So I think this is it's a conversation around will you choose like mindfulness and will you choose?
Oh my
No, I'm dead. Look,
God, yeah, God. Like, I'm asking you percentage wise, and you're telling me, like, if I'm asking you to do a case study on all of these people, you are just focusing on the 20, and I asked you to focus on the whole 100. Give me. No, you're not. You're talking
focus
about
on
if
the
you.
100
It all that matters is about where you look. Like that's what you. That's what you gonna try to do. I'm asking you about the whole experiment.
because what I'm about to
God damn, not just exhibit A.
the whole experiment says the whole experiment says no. Most people, I don't think, saw me as a square or a lame or whatever that is. And if
It
they
wasn't
did,
if they did.
I'm just being
Go ahead, my bad.
honest.
Go ahead.
If they did, just being honest, the way my world set up,
But that's
I don't even see them, and I don't know how else to I don't know how else to say this. Like they're non-factors, and I think oftentimes, like anything that we're talking about, this idea that we focus on the non-factors and we give all our energy to the non-factors rather than the. So even when you said D1, your conversation about D1 only comes up, right? It only is important because so
that's
many
not
people
true.
have supported him and pushed him out
I've
there.
been a fan of D1 and what he's been talking. My music is that. You know what I'm saying? Like I love the people that
That's what I'm trying to say.
have
That's what I'm saying.
went against the culture. I think Kanye was like
That's what
that
I'm
in the
saying.
beginning. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the conversation. The conversation is where do we choose to put the energy? Do we talk about? Do
Listen,
we talk
what I'm
about the people
saying
who hating
is,
on
I
D1,
understand
or do we
Kanye
talk
was
about?
that. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that my music, like even when my music is that, and I understand how it is hard to get that music listened to by masses versus this over here. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, the dude, I hope Demani. That man has been putting out some dope visuals and dope, you know what I'm saying, music for a minute now. And now he does this, and now
Yeah,
everybody, you know what I'm saying, it took this in order for people to recognize how dope Lil Youngin is. Why you get so frustrated with me? I don't understand.
Because it's just not true.
What's not true?
It's just not true. The idea that people haven't celebrated him. I seen him perform at festivals and he has shows and he got a
I'm
movement.
just
He got some
talking
folks
about the
behind him.
amount of people that are talking about him
So
now because of this. I'm quite sure that he's had, and I've heard some impressive lyrics prior to this. But now this has catapulted him into a space that he wasn't previously at had he not put this out. It's just the truth. And I know that you want to be like, oh no,
but
he's
what's
got to
the
focus. He had no. It's the truth. Like some people didn't even know who he was.
but I'm trying to figure out what no, I'm just trying to figure out the connection to the
The
discussion.
connection to the discussion is that I don't think that. So he does have movement, and I pray that the people that are spitting like him, more conscious, more positive, more going against the grain, like they're becoming way more acceptable, to popular quote unquote culture, which is something that I'm really excited about. And so my whole point is that I really think that Go-Go is maturing. And I think Go-Go is maturing. I mean, my bad. I
Go go.
think that, that I mean, hey, my bad. My bad.
Oh,
I think that hip
hey,
hop is
I feel
maturing.
you. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that the reason why hip hop is maturing is because hip hop is holding hip hop accountable. And it was a lot of people who had things to say that was just quiet until someone actually started speaking for them, and now they can actually stand behind that. Like the amount of people that's come out about Demani and how they felt about 50 Cent and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's beautiful to see. You have been on that.
Yeah, because I've
You
been on
have.
that. Yeah, I was psyched
Yeah,
that
and
and
I
he said
saw
everything that I've
Deontay
always been
Cal
saying.
who also spoke about it, which is yeah. But
And
what I'm
exactly
saying
what I've been
is,
saying.
without his voice, like how would have like what how would we battle that? You know what I'm saying? Without his voice, who would have spoke on it on a grand platform? Because no
So
one
I
was
don't know.
doing
So
that.
this, yeah. So the idea of like we having to have somebody speak for us or speak for the community. I think the part of it is like those conversations. Remember, I don't know if you remember, we was arguing back and forth about that at the gym, like having these discussions. I think those are the conversations. I think a lot of times because of the legacy, like we expect somebody like quote unquote like Martin Luther King to stand up or somebody to lead us in the right direction. It's not necessarily that. It's people being able to have an opinion and being able to assert the opinion, say what you feel, say what you mean, and then be able to have a collective conversation with your homies and your family. And I think first, right, with your homies and your family first, and then kind of spread out. I think Outkast said it. You want to reach the nation, you got to start from your corner, right? Like this conversation that we got to be able to have them with each other, and then that builds a collective consciousness. So I actually think that hip hop has always been having these conversations because it is the voice of the streets. It is the voice of the people. And so I think that there have always been pockets, right? So when you talk about early 90s, you had Poor Righteous Teachers, you had Brand Nubian, you had Tribe Called Quest, you had these people having these types of conversations. You had Wu-Tang to some degree, you had these people who would put things on albums and on their songs. And in the newer generation, right? You got Cole, you got Kendrick, you got Lupe, you got these people who have popularity, who are saying particular things, Wale to some degree, right? Who have a message in their music, but we'll put the energy in other places. So I think the biggest thing that we got to start to do is like think about where the collective consciousness is, and then celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? For me, because if not, there's always. I don't think that you can have positive without
You need
negative,
that.
right? That's the whole thing about yin and yang. You can't have it. And so I don't. It's not that I don't think negativity exists and that it doesn't need to be addressed, but I think you address it by giving uh, giving another option. For example, right? I can get this. I can get this example real quick. Like when I was building Oxon Hill Middle School, when I was working and trying to build the Oxon Hill Middle School, what I realized in middle school is, a lot of black youth is that, they throw around the N word, right? They throw it around with each other because it's cultural. But in my idea, I know that it doesn't necessarily, no matter how much you use it, it's not speaking life into. And so at 12 or 13 years old, these youngins are building their identity. So I can't just say to them, all right, look, in the school, we're not using this word no more. We ain't going to use it, right? Because what they need is something else to fill in the gap, right? You got to provide another example of what that looks like. So instead, I'm like, all right, we're not using this. Every teacher in this building, your peers, I'm going to write it on the walls. We're all going to call each other kings and queens. So now I'm going to give you a different option. Now, I ain't even got to talk to you about using the N-word no more. I just want to let you know this is the word that we're using. This is how we're going to address each other, right? And then over time, we ain't even talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's the focus on.
My point is that
Talk to me.
you came in, and when you came in, the culture was this. With, some people who don't even use that word because their parents taught them not to use it. And you you blew up this other term, in front of it, like with pictures and with your language in general, how you address them. You just gave them another option, and you constantly gave them this option. You constantly gave it when other people came in. You had them reinforce it, so forth and so on, to a point where it became, normal to them. And what I'm saying is, I think that that's what's happening in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Initially, it was, all like we've always been like associated with drugs selling and drug use and alcohol and things of that nature. But for a long time, we've also been associated with family. So I'm not saying that has never been there. We've always been associated with community and things of that nature, but it hasn't been as promoted, as the other things. And so what I think is happening is that people are seeing King on the wall. I think that people are seeing people say King, you know what I'm saying, and Queen. And now, because in your school, there was someone who didn't say the N-word and always wanted to say king and queen, but felt a little awkward saying it because nobody else was saying it. And you made it comfortable for that person. You know what I'm saying? To be able to be, oh, yes. You know what I'm saying? I've been wanting to identify. I've been wanting to speak out on this. I've been, yeah. So I think
That's a real.
so I think that
Yeah,
that's
that's a
what
real
hip
point. I
hop
get
is
you.
is
I
is
get you.
going. It's
Like,
that's what it's turning to.
so this conversation around um, the comfort level in being able to be
Yes.
different in a positive way or reflective in a way that is like has its
Yeah.
grounding in like growth and development. That wasn't necessary. You don't feel like it was always a space in hip hop for that. And now the newer generation is ushering in this ability to be able to engage
Yeah.
in that
Yes.
thoughtful
So
expression.
when yeah.
Okay. No,
You
I
know
can
what I
I can
mean? Go ahead. Nah, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
can huh? No, I can agree there around this idea that like there is I think the newer generation is producing a different energy, especially putting it in front of adults and making them consider and think about how we go to
Yeah.
like business around mental health, around our ideas about how we see the world, around what we consider to be normal and righteous. We were just having a conversation with my homies about like being growing up in the 80s
Yeah.
and how we was just like outside, right? You just had to be outside, but you can get hurt or you can deal with all kinds of stuff, and they be just like, yeah, put a, you know what I'm saying? Whole time you got all types of trauma from, right, that you still managing right now in your adult life. And our mind, we like, because I did it, you got to do it, right? Talking to the newer generations, but I don't think that has to be true. I think each generation should be growing us up a little bit more.
I think though, I want to give credit to, because I think it's a progression. And I love it. Like right now, I feel like the youth are really comfortable in who they are and what they are, and what they're pushing forward. But I also think that our generation has done a good job of ushering that in. For instance, like fatherhood, and how we have changed the narrative on that. So I don't think that it was, just the younger people. I think that we helped to make them feel comfortable. But I'm just real excited. Like that song made me excited about hip hop. Cause that young man, that young man spoke when he said, I'm more level headed than the people heading to your mansion. I was like, young.
Yeah, and that's a real good point that you just bring up too, around the idea that like it's the generation before them, because Demani is a reflection of his father. Like, and that's in T.I. is Atlanta T.I. T.I. is, you know what I mean, jail for a number, you know what I'm saying? And he is a reflection of his father. And I think that is a major point to add in, especially because I think that's one of the things that every generation has to learn, is that we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? So the folks who raised us. So that's a great point.
All right, that's dope. I just wanted to, rap about that, man. But like I won one.
Yeah. No, you had some very good points, Sean.
I didn't know when to hit, dog. I just love talking to you, dog.
Nah, you gonna act like you won later, but
don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Play the music.
Just play the music. Let's play the music again.
Black and Victoria.